Hey everybody, welcome back to the 37th edition of the Tiger Highline Online. Let's take a look at what's happening in the Cedar Valley and the halls of Cedar Falls High School. Swing dancing may not be what most think is a popular way to hit the floor, but many teens are getting involved, as Christina and Emily show today.
Instead of just frequenting parties and restaurants on the weekends, some Cedar Falls High School students have picked up an interesting new hobby, swing dancing. Joseph Carey has been the head of UNI Swing and Ballroom Club since the beginning of the year, and the club's lessons and dances have begun to attract many CF students.
I think it's great. I actually started dancing when I was a high schooler, back in the dark ages. When I was a junior and senior in high school, I was going to dances and taking lessons. So I think it's great. It brings a great energy. Y'all learn very quickly and pick up things.
Swing dancing is a fun new activity for many, and the events include people of all ages.
I like swing dancing because it's just a lot of fun. It's a great way to get out, have a lot of fun with people. You get to meet new people, and it's at the same time, in a sense, it's impressive. So it's just something kind of cool to do. You can say, oh, hey, I can swing dance.
Lessons with an emphasis on swing are 4 o'clock to 5 on Sunday afternoons, and lessons that include swing in addition to other ballroom styles are 8 o'clock to 9 on Tuesday nights. There are also talks of an earlier Tuesday lesson in the works. All lessons are at the Wesley Foundation on the Hill, and dances are commonly at the lamppost next to the Hearst Center, though they have been at a few other venues.
Go for it. As cheesy and, however many times people have said that in the movies, go for it. It's a lot of fun. Advice for it, go out and give it a try. Before I started going swing dancing, I thought I was no way in heck it would get me to dance. I'm a bad dancer, I can't dance, I don't like it. Don't even try to get me to go on the dance floor. It's not going to happen. But then I kind of just said, well, you know what do I got to lose?
To keep up to date with all swing and ballroom lessons, events, and dances, you can email Joe at carryjab@uni.edu or join the group's Facebook page. In addition to this, there are also a number of CF students involved who can keep you up to date, including Zach Worthington. This has been Emily Peck and Christina Brammer reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
Following up on a lesson she learned in Mr. Longnecker's class, senior Jillian Ross used a very visual approach to a problem that persists around the globe: forced use of children in the military. Michaela Burke and Lee Hall have the story.
On Wednesday, April 3rd, in Mr. Longnecker's Developing Nations class, kids got their hands messy for Red Hand Day. Jillian Ross explains what it is.
This is for the Red Hand Day campaign. It's a campaign against the use of child soldiers all around the world. And so in several different countries, kids are taken from their homes and forced to join different armed groups, whether they're government or non-government groups. And so they're taken away from their families. They're generally there's sometimes drugs involved and some very dehumanizing procedures used, and they're basically made into killing machines.
Jillian wasn't the only one that thought this was a good idea. 414 other participants got involved, and Luke Wheeler was one of them.
I saw a lot of other people doing it, and I asked what was going on, and it's about the just against child soldiers, and I feel that's really wrong, I guess.
Do this.
Well, it was Jillian's idea, really. She came right before Christmas and said something about having a Red Hand Day, which I was familiar with, but didn't know all the ins and outs of. And of course I said yes. I'm not going to turn down my help with a student there, and I thought it was awesome that she wanted to do it.
Jillian also explains what they're going to do with the posters once they're done with them.
All of these I'll present them to the mayor. He's in, I think, South America right now. And so when he gets back, I will present them to him, and I'll also put up pictures and a little blurb and the number of hands we've collected on the Red Hand Day website. And that number will be sent to the United Nations, and they keep track of how many hands have been collected.
This has been Lee Hall and Michaela Burke reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
In an attempt to break up the late winter blues, Mrs. Waite challenged CF students with an Easter puzzle that had many guessing. Alyssa Vaughn shares the results.
Every year at Cedar Falls High School, there is an annual jelly bean guessing contest that takes place in the MRC. Mrs. Waite, the MRC secretary, shares some news about the upcoming event.
I just wanted to do something because everybody was having the winter blahs, and we thought maybe, my daughter and I thought maybe this would be fun for the staff to do. So it started in 1998 for just the staff, and this is the first year we've done it for the students. Write your name on a piece of paper and the guess, and put it in the little bowl that's provided.
After a long week of guesses, the results are finally in. Sophomore Lee Hall and student counselor Mr. Weigers share their initial reaction and strategies to the contest.
I looked at my friends, and then I went one below that, so I got the whole Price is Right thing going on here. You know, I seem to be pretty good at these. It takes a lot of skill, but I pulled through in the end, through all that pressure, and I got it.
I think it's probably more guesswork than anything. I think I took a look at the egg or the cylinder it was in and tried to mathematically determine. And it was difficult because you couldn't see how big the jelly beans were. And so I would like to say that I had this formula in my head, but it was much more of an educated guess, less educated, more on the guess side.
Be on the lookout for the 2014 Jelly Bean Contest. This has been Alyssa Vaughn reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
The art department has been pushing young artists to enter their top efforts into contests, and results show that their push has paid off, as Olivia and Kaz report.
Since the photography class started 3 years ago at Cedar Falls, it has really taken off. Students are given the opportunity to express themselves through photography. The photography teacher, Lisa Klensky, shares on the class.
Well, I developed the photography course as a separate course from graphic design because we have a lot of kids who are interested in digital photography now, especially with them putting better and better cameras on the cell phones. People are snapping pictures and uploading stuff all the time. So we've had a really good response to it, and we continue to. Kyle's contest was put on by Photography Forum magazine, and it was a contest that was geared towards high school and college students. I ran across it in one of their magazines that I was looking through and encouraged him and several others to enter it last semester. Then Laurel's was done through state of Iowa, and it's called Snapshot Iowa, where it was about architecture in Iowa. And I got email about that, and I always, when they send me emails on things like that, I print out extras and post them in the art room and hand them out to students who I think would be interested.
One photography standout, Kyle Weber, discusses his perspectives on photography.
Just kind of exploring, the arts in this different way to explore, where it's already made for you. It's kind of just how you want to see it, so you can change the angles and stuff like that. But and just going to stay the same, basically. A national photography contest for high school students, and about 16,000 photos were entered, and I was chosen as one of the top 100 candidates in the nation. The top 100 photos are going to get put in a book, and they're going to be put in like an exhibit. So it was a really great honor to all those photos to be chosen in the top 100. Oh yeah, photography is something that you can never really perfect. You can always continue to get better at it. Continue to use different tools to make photography better and stuff like that.
Another photography student, Laurel Smines, talks about photography in her life.
Mrs. Klensky, who I work with for my independent study, she had seen that there was it's called Snapshot Iowa, an architecture photography contest through, I think it's the Iowa Architecture Foundation, and I just decided I would try entering it. Right now, photography is just a hobby, but I think it would be nice to have as kind of a side job in the future, so I definitely want to just keep building my portfolio and just kind of keep it as a side option.
This has been Olivia Borsay and Kaz Brown reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
Jared, Bennett, and myself take you on a journey of seniors' preparations for celebrating as the end years.
I plan to attend Western Illinois University in Macomb, Illinois.
I'm going to Iowa Western for cheerleading. Alright, I'm going to Liberty University, and that is in Lynchburg, Virginia.
I'm going to Wartburg College for music and video production.
I'm going to Winona State in Minnesota, and it's in Winona, Minnesota.
As the school year winds down, seniors are getting a head start on graduation invitations by using Facebook. We asked the 2013 senior class speaker what his plan was for a graduation party.
My graduation party is at my house. I liked in the past going to graduation parties where it was at their house just because you kind of got a better feel for it, and I like my house, whatever. And I'm having it early, which I'm kind of excited about because I can just kind of get out of the way. That kind of frees up time to go to other people's, so I can really try to hit up as many as I can for my other students, and it's going to be a great time.
This has been Joey Dobson, Bennett Ford, and Jared Connolly reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
Graduation is right around the corner, and Alyssa offers ideas for cheap gifts to get the class of 2013.
With graduation quickly approaching, everyone is scrambling about trying to find that perfect graduation gift. My name's Alyssa Vong, and today I'm going to give you a few suggestions on the perfect graduation gift. My first suggestion would be a digital camera. With college students going off into college, they're going to be taking a lot of pictures, and they're going to want to add it in their photo albums, post it on Facebook, so I would suggest a digital camera. Also, digital cameras are becoming much less expensive, which means you can give a quality, high-tech gift without becoming broke. My next suggestion would be gift cards. Gift cards may not seem like much, but they go a long way. A college student is usually on a very tight budget, so a gift card to their local favorite restaurant or a local restaurant or even a gas station might help. So gift cards, they go a long way. This next suggestion may be a little expensive and pricey, but trust me, every college student needs one. I suggest a laptop, preferably a MacBook, and or a tablet or an iPad. These go a long way because college students are going to be using them to type essays, look up websites. They're going to be using these non-stop in college life. So if you don't already have a laptop or any type of tablet to write on or take notes on, then I would suggest getting one or maybe gifting it to somebody. So remember, tablets and a laptop are a must. For those of you that don't want to spend as much for a laptop or a tablet, I would recommend getting headphones. They don't necessarily have to be Beats. Any headphones will work. But headphones are very important. College students are probably going to be listening to them, jamming out on the way to school or work, or even just wearing them to get away from the hectic life of the dorms. So this, definitely a must. Another suggestion, which might be a little bit more affordable than the last two, magazine subscriptions. People may not think this, but you can give other people magazines. Magazines, what can I say? They're handy, they're dandy, and they're fun and interesting. All you have to do is subscribe to them, give them as a present, and then you're set. I recommend 17 magazine, obviously. My last suggestion, and probably the best one, is, and you guessed it, cash. Honestly, who doesn't like a little money? Money is perfect. If you don't know what to give the other person, give them cash. Let them buy it themselves. Most college students need money to pay for their classes, their textbook, and pizza. Also, those paying for rent, business wardrobe, new wardrobe. So just remember, cash goes a long way. I'm sure there are a few other suggestions you could probably think of, like inside jokes between the two of you, decorations for the dorm rooms, because I'm sure you need a few decorations to lighten the place up, flowers, fake flowers even. Who knows? The list goes on. These are just a few suggestions I'm making. I hope they help. And this has been Alyssa Vaughn reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
Downtown Waterloo has not been a destination on the top of many teens' list, but a new hangout called 220 East is looking to change that, as Michael and Nick show you in this story.
Looking for something new? Maybe just a place to be creative.
this might be the place for you.
When we saw this building, there was the idea that downtown Waterloo has very few places for young people and people underage, and by that I mean mostly high school kids, to go and spend time, because there's either bars or restaurants. Sometimes those restaurants are kind of pricey restaurants. They aren't the kind of place you can go and just hang out. And we want a place where people can creatively exchange ideas. And so that is kind of the point behind this place, is to allow for the expression of creative ideas. That could be music, that can be art, which we have in the gallery upstairs, performance art, spoken word. The main floor, as you walk in the building, we have a stage area. In that area, it's big enough to have, you know, most musical groups perform. We do have then across from that a seating area which has chairs and tables and some couches right now. It's not a huge area, probably we've had 40 people sitting in there. So we are not a big venue for music, although we do have a bigger space downstairs here where you can get more people in, but there's no seating. And then we have the gallery, which takes up the main part of the first floor. And that is going to have exhibits that change probably monthly. Some of them have been up there quite a while now. Some of them have just been up there weeks. Kind of depends on who comes along with art to show. But we'd like to keep it moving and changing. Now we have Ben Hosh's photos of his trip down the Mississippi River in his canoe, which is terrific. We have some more photo exhibits coming up next month. What we are also doing is to have spaces where people can start a small business with a very shoestring budget. And so in that sense, through Main Street Waterloo, we are serving as a retail incubator, which means that people can rent a small space in this building and sell a product or a service without having to rent a storefront and all the encumbrances that can entail. So you can start a small business, like I have a niece who makes beautiful jewelry, and she can have a little spot in here and sell her jewelry, right? And see whether or not it goes over, if she can sell some, if it seems like a viable thing to do. We really want to bring arts and communication to downtown Waterloo in a kind of walk through the door kind of way. So we're open to people who want to come and be a part of this, very much so. Really would like to have people participate. And when I say young people, we certainly want to encourage young people to come to downtown Waterloo, because there hasn't been a reason for them to come before in a lot of ways, and we want to be that reason. And then also, we encourage everybody to come, because it is by no means just limited to youth. It's for everybody.
For more information about 220 East, call Steve at 319-610-9939 or search them on Facebook. This has been Michael Bowden and Nick Hall reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
Two CF seniors recently discovered that their entry in a prestigious video contest for CSpan placed third in the country. Terrell and Luke have the story.
On January 18th, 2013, a video was submitted to a CSpan contest by Julie Doyle and Josh Thompson.
The CSpan Student Cam is a documentary project for students grades middle school and high school, and essentially you just submit a 5 to 8 minute documentary on the topic of your choice. This year it was under the theme of Message to the President, so anything to do with like the economy or social issues or anything like that. Me and my partner Josh Thompson both had a little bit of experience. I had taken a public speaking class where we had to create a documentary, and then he had worked at NU with some different programs, so we had a little bit of experience, but we were just exploring the idea of videos and documentaries. This experience has really taught me how to be patient with programs and video editing, and it's also taught me how to communicate better, in the sense that me and Josh Thompson had to communicate not only with each other but also the people we were interviewing and setting up appointments and stuff like that.
This is Terrell Christie and Luke Krieger reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
Despite Despite heightened awareness and more restrictive laws, texting and driving continues to rise, but now to the group most people expect, as Michael and Nick discover in this story.
New research studies show that texting while driving may be more common with adults rather than kids below the ages of 18.
I was actually kind of shocked when I heard that, and I was trying to figure out why would adults text more than kids, and I don't know if I really know why. Lots of times I'll see people looking down and I assume they're looking at their phone texting, or sometimes I see them, you know, with their phone up on the steering wheel, or sometimes I ride with adults that text while they're driving too.
I think people text and drive because, I don't know, it's easy to get distracted when you're driving, and it seems more simple than it actually is, and you don't realize.
My dad texts and drives when my mom is texting him or something. But he's always texting and driving, and I don't even do it that way.
Just pure speculation, I'm going to go with the fact that now part of driver's ed is they probably, I may be wrong, talk with students over and over again about the importance of not texting and driving, and give them the research and the data that shows how much more likely they are to get in an accident while texting than not. And a lot of adults have not had that research and is not constantly drilled with that, so they, you know, don't have that in the back of their mind as much, so they were more likely to just take out their phone and do it because they don't know about the research. And number two, adults are more likely to think, well, I'll do what I want.
Yes. Do people do it all the time? Yes. Are people going to die? Yes. What should we do about it? I have no idea.
This has been Michael Bowden and Nick Hall reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
The state lawmakers are examining many changes, including new restrictions for teen drivers, as Terrell and Luke report.
There's a new law being discussed that will restrict drivers with permits and intermediate licenses.
Current proposals on student drivers and parents, and the bit about having one person in the car are grand kind of efforts by legislation, and probably a good idea in trying to reduce teens and accidents. But I think one of the major difficulties maybe that they're going to encounter with student drivers and their parents, of course, is it really being done in the first place? So longevity, I suppose the time factor is there, 6 months versus right now versus a year that's to come. So that's a law thing that definitely you can draw a line in the sand about. Probably a good idea, because I think too many times students haven't been driving long enough to begin with, even when they come see me in driver education. And there are different ideas behind that, as some parents want their kids to drive with me first before they go drive with them. All practicality, it probably works a little better if they've been driving a little bit and then they come see me, because I only get to drive with them 6 times for 6 hours, I mean. So in relationship to the proposed law about young drivers only having one other peer in the car, although that's, as I said before, sort of an honorable kind of idea, I think the enforcement aspect is going to be a difficult one. First of all, law enforcement's going to have a real problem trying to figure out if you're of age or not of age. So the only time that anybody's going to get in trouble is if they get caught for something else. So if they get pulled over for something else. So although I think it's an honorable thing, it might be a difficult thing in practicality. Do I think it's a good thing? I think it's probably a good thing. I think a lot of us have a lot of distractions to begin with, and I think peer pressure, especially amongst young people, is even a bigger problem. Not just, you know, teenagers in high school. This goes on into the 20s too. So the big question to me would be, where do you draw that line? Is it just until they're 18, or do we continue this sort of thing? And again, there goes the law enforcement aspect. There's no way that you're going to be able to enforce that on a practical basis.
I think the idea to have restrictions on teenagers driving, it's a good idea, but I don't think you can restrict it that much to where you say all teenagers or all people with their intermediate license have to drive with only one peer. I think that that's overgeneralizing the driving habits of teenagers, and that it's unfair to some who are decent drivers and are decent drivers with other peers around them.
Well, I think it could be good because some people should only have one person in the car so that way they don't get distracted, because that way less people get in accidents, and it helps keep you focused while driving.
This is Terrell and Luke reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
CF had a strong showing in the annual physics regional contest at UNI. Richie and Ahmed bring us into the action.
Every year, schools around Northeast Iowa send students to the physics competition at UNI. The physics competition consists of a series of events. Students and officials elaborate.
It's been around for a long time. I would probably say since the 1980s. And so it's been around for about 30 years. For this year, we actually have 6 different events. We have the mousetrap car, the self-propelled catapult, the toothpick bridge, soda straw arm, the challenge problem, and then we also have the material recovery facility.
Cedar Falls placed in the top 3 in every event except for the self-propelled catapult. They placed first in the mousetrap car, first and second in bridge building, third in the soda straw arm and the challenge problem, and second in the MRF event. This is Richie Korneisel
and Ahmed Shahada
reporting for the Cedar Falls Tiger Highline Online.
CF has a big name in football, and his name is Ross Piercebaker. Austin, Andrew, and Malcolm profiled this prospect.
Junior offensive lineman Ross Piercebaker was the first freshman to ever start for the Cedar Falls High School football team.
We came up with the decision to move him up as a freshman, which is the first time we've ever moved a freshman up to the varsity here at Cedar Falls High School.
It was a pretty big honor, but at that moment, I was just kind of nervous and scared. Didn't think that I was ready to play, but now I look back at it and it was just a good opportunity.
Myself, Coach Mitchell, Ross and his dad, along with the administration, we sat down and went through a kind of an extensive process to evaluate where Ross was.
Just kind of said that the hard work was paying off, and just kind of nice, to see that everyone was, paying attention to what's happening and stuff.
We decided as a group that it was going to be best for him and that he could compete at the varsity level to move him up and challenge him.
Ross committed to Iowa on January 12th via Twitter.
Probably just growing up in Iowa, being an Iowa fan. Their offensive line's really good, and just having to be close to home and being comfortable there.
He is already looking forward to next season and wants a shot in the NFL.
To win the state championship. Me personally, I don't have that many goals this year, but just team goals more than anything. To be successful in college, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I just think hopefully the NFL, maybe, I don't know. Just keep working hard and maybe that'll come.
We've been fortunate enough to have some very, very talented players come through here, but when you look at the accolades and the awards Ross has received up to this point through his junior year, he's got to rank right up there at the top.
The highly decorated yet humble student athlete was selected to participate in the Under Armour All-American game.
They're going to be flying us out to Orlando, Under Armour is, and practicing out there, and then having the All-Star game against the other top guys in the country.
He's having some opportunities to be involved in some national activities, something that we haven't had a lot of players do, in addition to the recognition he's getting by and attention through all the scholarship offers. So he's got some great things going for him. He ranks as one of the better players, obviously, we've had go through Cedar Falls High School in the years that I've been associated with it.
This has been Malcolm, Austin, and Andrea reporting for the Tiger Highline Online.
Thanks for watching another episode of the Tiger Highline Online. Feel free to browse all of our other episodes, and if you have a news story, send us a comment in the link below, or send us a message, and we'd love to shoot something and get you on YouTube and featured in the Tiger Highline Online. Thanks for watching again.